Hi everyone, Sora here. How are you all doing? I'm doing this video today. I promised you back on the Tuesday. It was Tuesday that I made that video about Fire Emblem Heroes. I just finished doing my Camus special quests to get Camus. I already have him 5 stars. I'll do that. I'll do a video about that next week or so. But I'm here to talk about my rant that I teased the previous video about Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia, Fire Emblem Echoes for short. I know one thing. I am not the type of guy that usually rages on the internet about the game, except for that game of Skate Backbone. It's hard to pronounce it. Backtrip Backbone, I think. That was just some time ago. But okay, first of all, I know that the game is a kind of a remake. I say kinda because some aspects of the game changed, like character design, some personalities, some traces that were on the manual. They came to the game because Fire Emblem Gaiden was It was pretty difficult to figure out the story behind it. You had to read the whole manual to understand the characters, what was their meaning, their way of thinking. If not, you are pretty much screwed, and that's because Fire Emblem Gaiden was the black sheep of the Fire Emblem franchise. Was considered for many years. But I'll be talking about the remake that I've been playing on my 3DS. I'm not the guy that has some kind of plug that plugs into the computer and shows the live stream of my gaming console, so I'll just talk about, and maybe I'll put some trailers here because of copyright issues. Anyone can take in them, bro. Okay, first of all, first thing to rant. The game is super simplified. That makes a little bit too easy. I will not lie to you. I play casual mode on Fire Emblem because, after all, I want to know the story and the characters. I already worked as a professional game reviewer, and I know what permadeath has. I know what it brings. I know that can make a game a lot more challenging. But when you are a professional game reviewer, you have little time to cover all the game story, all the gameplay experience. You have to rush the game almost completely. You only have to listen to the story, listen to the characters, make a few points about the gameplay and music, and a little more of that, of course. It's not that simple, but we have only to enjoy the game itself, not play on the maximum difficulty setting to know, the game is so challenging and stuff. If you do this and you do that, no, we usually don't do that. So I'll be honest, I don't play on classic. I play on casual mode, so none of my characters will really die. Because I don't want them to die. I like the character so far. I'm enjoying the game so far. I really am enjoying the game so far. It has some quirky characters, some quirky talks. It's actually a good thing to bring it over, something from the past to the present, with some new stylish and fresh looking graphics and stuff. And I really think that was the point of Fire Emblem Gaiden being brought to the 3DS. But the super simplified experience makes it a little bit easy. If you don't know what I'm talking about the triangle, the so well known triangle of Fire Emblem. You know, the axes beat lances, lances beat swords, swords beat axes. That's gone from Fire Emblem. For Fire Emblem Echoes, it's gone. It was used on pretty much all Fire Emblems since Genealogy of the Holy War, if I'm not mistaken. But that mechanic was totally erased from the game. I know why that's happened, because this is a remake after all. On Fire Emblem Gaiden there wasn't a triangle, but I think that would make a good thing, because we spent so much, so much years expanding the horizons of Fire Emblem franchise, implementing new ways and new techniques of gameplays, and suddenly off on a newer title just because it's a remake, it all got brushed off. It's a really good game for newcomers to get into the series, and no mistake about it. Fire Emblem in the past few years has been rising to the Nintendo's finest franchises. But I think that the oversimplified experience might be some of the problems that the more hardcore fans of the series are nagging about. They are complaining about the game being too simplistic, and that even the maps are simplistic, because in the original NES, I was going to say Nintendo Entertainment System, but the NES was not a console of much complexity on graphics, on games, on none of that. They were just fun. Nintendo wanted to make games that are fun, that make people want to play them over again and remember them. Who doesn't know Super Mario? Who doesn't know it? The game is super fun. It's not a hardcore game, but it's super fun. Gaiden just Okay, I'm making a distortion here. Gaiden and Shadows of Valentia are both the same game, but Gaiden is the old one and Echoes is the remake. Okay, I'll try to say Echoes for now on, but Echoes just brings up again the simplistic side of Fire Emblem for newcomers to come. One thing that I personally didn't like much was the designer of the characters. Was the design of the characters? I like the Awakening Fate setting the best. This one feels more like those generic JRPGs that are only sold on Japan for PS Vita, you know. But okay, on another thing is that the game lacks class diversity so much that actually annoyed me. On Alm's Quest, on first act, you only begin as one. You have 4 villagers with you, or 3, I think. Yeah, I think it was 3. 3 villagers with you, and that's the only class that lets you make a choice of what another class you're going. And it doesn't let you respect, I don't know how to pronounce, it doesn't let you choose again another class for you to travel on. If you choose, for example, this villager to be a mercenary, you can't go back and make him a sniper or stuff, and that's pretty much annoying. On Fate, you could do that as much times as you wanted because of the seals. On Awakening 2, and that was a mechanic that made you change ideas and change strategy and make the game more complex. On Gaiden, you don't see that thing on Echoes. I said Gaiden again. I don't see that thing on Echoes. Another thing that I didn't like to see was there are no classes to use access. At least not that I've seen so far. I'm on Act 4. I know it's pretty early in the game, but I've been playing I only have 10 hours of gameplay. I know I should been much more upfront on the game, but I spent so much time grinding because I want to get the Sykes shield, the Draco shield. The game is so simple, so easy, that I had to turn the heart function to it to be some kind of challenge, because you can grind. I have the DLC to grind, but you can grind even without the DLC on the dungeons. Dungeons are a good thing on Echoes. I love the dungeon setting. In graphics, it pretty much overruns every other Fire Emblem on the 3DS, hands down. I still remember some people asking me while I was playing Awakening, hey, why this dude has no feet? Did he chop them off or what? And I was like, yeah, good point. The 3DS has pretty much the power to render feet, I think. So on Fates, I already seen feet. They are a bit small, but you can see them. They are there. And Gaiden, I said Gaiden again. Okay, I'll be sticking with Gaiden. You guys already know what I'm talking about. In Echoes, you only see you see so much detail on the characters as far as the 3DS can go. Now, I won't rant about what the 3DS can or cannot do and in a graphic setting because I'm no specialist on console specs. I'm more of a PC gamer because of that. But okay, there are a few classes and there is no class of access, and sometimes access drop for you. And I ask myself, will I get an X unit? Okay, I think I'm far enough in the game to know if there was a X unit or not, and I'm not seeing anything, just swords and spears. And other thing that nagged me about this game that I loved in Fates was the special skills that you learn over time. In Fates, you learn the skill with the level of the class you're using, not with the weapon, but with the class that you're using over time and over levels. In Gaiden, that doesn't happen. You just have to equip an item to learn about that item. For people that came over just from Awakening and Fates and pretty much every Fire Emblem from 10 years to now, will see that this is strange because I just equipped a carrot. What? She's gonna fight with using a carrot? The only thing that I can think of is I am equipping weapons, and then I see that we can equip food, and I was like, what? A character can only carry one item at a time? Why? Why is that? Why some of the mechanics got so downgraded and others just got brushed off? I can't think of a reason for it. Just a remake, just saying, oh, but it's a remake, isn't much of a reason to do it. Final Fantasy VII is getting remaked, and Square Enix said, okay, it's a remake, yeah, but some things will get upgraded because of the more recent times. Okay, that's a good thing, that's understandable. But this is not what I was thinking about Fire Emblem Gaiden or Echoes or whatever you want to call it, I don't give a shit. But one thing that made its back to Fire Emblem franchise, and that was the fatigue system. Yeah, the fatigue system. If you play Thracia 7076, you know what I'm talking about. The fatigue system is pretty much the character. The much one fights, the more fatigue it will accumulate. You had to make him eat, make him drink. But if you go to a statue of Goddess Mila and make an offering of wine and other stuff, the fatigue of everyone on your party will just brush off magically. That turns the game so much easier. Unless you're having such a tough battle that you have to keep pressing on one character and the fatigue just goes on down. But that never seems to happen. And the maps are so simple that the strategy is almost in existence. Really, the maps are so simple, and I remember that the NES didn't have the power to make super overcomplicated camps, but the 3DS does. In Fates, you had so much creative camps, so much creative maps that had their own tricks and stuff to do on those. If you want to get to the boss, and here you just, okay, head straight to them. The maps are simple and little when you are on a dungeon. Okay, fine, legit, you are on the dungeon. It's a small battle, Final Fantasy style. You and your opponents face to face till one takes the cake. Okay, but this is the 3DS. The 3DS can make much more of this. Why Nintendo? Why Intelligent Systems? Why is this? It's a remake, yes, but some things are here that weren't on Gaiden as much far as I know. Why don't bring the other tactical mechanics, things that got your public again back to the Fire Emblem series after the fall of Fire Emblem series on Path of Radiance? Why? maybe you're confusing me with a hater. You're already pushing the thumbs down, but I seriously am loving playing this game. But I just wanted to make some points clear because there are people commenting about this on the internet, and they're right. There are some mechanics that intelligent systems spend so much years developing, so gamers would get enthusiastic about a Fire Emblem game and then just throw them away just because it's a remake, and I can't reason with it. It's just part of me, you know. Something it's like putting a cake and you put some cream on the cake and you serve to that same person every time, but this is a remake of the antique style of making cakes. This cream was not available at the time, so just have the cake vanilla. That's not how you do things. Not at least of my perspective of viewing. And another thing that I loved about Awakening and Fates, that was one of the gameplay features that I loved on recent Fire Emblem games, was the paired units and the support attacks. My god, that was awesome. Not about the pairings and marryings and waifus and husbandos style, but I like the thing that characters trusted each other in the way that they give them a boost to each other. That was amazing. That was so good for strategy that I cannot enumerate any more things. I'm already making what? I'm already almost 20 minutes talking about this. You're already tired. But you see my point. I'm not hating the game. The game is fantastic. The game deserves a high score. But as a remake, I was expecting some things from the last Fire Emblem games to transit over to this game, and that was not the case here. But Intelligent Systems just did an excellent job. The characters don't look that bad with that design, even though I prefer the design from Fates and Awakening. It's not that bad, actually. And the cutscenes, one thing that I regret is that the cutscenes here, you can turn your 3D on. The cutscene just stays 2D. If I remember well, on Fates, when those CGI happened, you could turn on your 3D and you just watch the show on 3D. That was spectacular. Some people just scratching my nose because so much hot in here today. Okay. In Fates, you could just turn on the 3D and watch the show. I know that most of the people don't ever use the 3D on the 3DS anymore, and Nintendo just released the new 2DS XL or whatever they call it, because people are already tired of 3D. The 3D era has already gone past 2 or 3 times, and we are now again on the second layer of the VR. That the first layer began when the Virtual Boy, that disaster, came along. But okay, that's enough of my rant. I think that I wish I might entertain you and make you see some points of this. This was just a simple video with a camera, nothing special, no spectacular effects or music. That's not my type of video making. So I just wanted to make some points clear about this game that should have been cleared up on the game's release. I was not expecting so much downgrade. But the game is still good. It's still worth buying. Please play the game. It's awesome. The characters. I'm in love with Almond Celica and some other characters that I don't remember the names quite yet because I'm still early in the game and I was just grinding it again and again. But I'm sure you will enjoy Shadows of Melantia. It's a good game for starters. It's a good game, and seriously, do not start with Fates. I know Fates is tempting, has a cool theme, but it's not too much of a good game to start. Start by Awakening or Echoes. Echoes is too much of a good game for newcomers to start. Fire Emblem community, I don't think they are too much of oppressing manner, because I don't see much of "you are new fact to the series, so shut up" on the communities on subreddit and stuff. So yeah, just have fun on your game. This was Lorewalker Sora. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you like my videos and if you want more. Next video I'll make sure I'll come back with Fire Emblem Heroes because I have some summons to make, and have an awesome one.